Body positivity movement encourages that each and every one of us are comfortable in our own skin, regardless of whatever form the body takes, and more importantly, without trying to mold yourself into a shape that society deems suitable. Now, while I absolutely believe in body positivity, and the body positivity movement continues to be crucial and a necessity in today's social media society, it has some very toxic flaws that need to be broken down. Because it is ultimately the excess outpouring of positivity on social media platforms that has led to the culture of toxic positivity. And what really grinds my gears about toxic positivity is that it is based on highlighting only a person's positive aspects of their life. And on the flip side of this, toxic positivity seeks to dismiss or reject any negative emotion that all humans, in my opinion, should be subjected to at some point in their life. This, after all, is human nature, and negative emotions and experiences are what allow us to grow as people. So in today's video, I want to talk you through body positivity and how toxic positivity has hijacked this in recent years and months. Now, to some, this may be triggering or controversial, and this video is not intended to be either. But what I hope that it provides is an alternative, insightful viewpoint. And very quickly before we jump into the video, just a quick reminder as always that I'm now offering the SIBO organic acid stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. Now, these topics really come to the forefront in 2018 when Tess Holliday, a plus-size model, appeared on the front cover of the Cosmopolitan magazine. Now, this in itself wasn't controversial, and it's great that some of these types of fashion magazines are now depicting the reality of all different body types and shapes in society that exist today, and this should be applauded. The controversy in this story came from the magazine and Tess Holliday essentially saying that obese and morbidly obese people can be perfectly healthy. This article, similar articles, and many social media influencers who are plus sized then started to put excess pressure on the body positivity movement, suggesting that women, and to a much less extent men, should always feel comfortable, happy and good about larger body sizes, regardless of where a person's health status is tracking. And herein is where the problem lies. While the notion that everyone should love their bodies, regardless of health outcome, may strike a chord and empower some, the speed at which we all develop being comfortable in our own skin varies from person to person, as does the rate at which someone develops self-esteem. And what underpins all of this is the rate at which a person understands their own mental needs as they age. So the point that I'm trying to get to here is that this whole environment of being comfortable in your own skin is always evolving, and it is absolutely human nature to have regular uncomfortable debates in our own minds from everything in our lives, from relationships to our own weight status. And these conversations are what make us, well, us. Every single one of us will have days of struggle where we will not always feel comfortable or satisfied with what we have been born with. This may be personality based, or it may be based on physical appearances such as weight. And many of us may also have bundles of confidence and self-esteem, but equally still not feel comfortable with the person who is looking back at us in the mirror. One of the biggest issues that I've seen over recent years on social media is the propaganda that is driving everything. And much of this propaganda is fueled and shaped by activists and social media platforms 24 hours a day. And for many who are vulnerable to propaganda for weight issues, it can be particularly overwhelming. So like I said at the start, while body positivity is a necessity to help people break through social pressures on how they should look, a person can only truly feel comfortable in themselves if they have taken the time to develop their self-esteem in a progressive way. Manipulative propaganda and toxic positivity will do nothing longer term for self-esteem or mental health issues. A good analogy for this is putting in poor foundations while building a house. If the foundations and walls have not been built correctly, then eventually the house will crumble and subside. And this is the same principle with self-esteem and also mental health. If you are being propped up by a propaganda movement like toxic positivity that fails to acknowledge that it is normal for a person to have negative conversations with themselves and their internal walls of their house have not been built on solid foundations, then a person may be fine now, but eventually crumble as their mental health and physical health collapses over time. And then we come to my biggest issue with all of this, and it's the crossover between body positivity and physical health. Body positivity and toxic positivity suggest that every single body is beautiful and that every one of us should accept this. The issue with this mindset, though, is if a woman is obese, for example, generally speaking, this will be directly related to her lifestyle. And yes, in some, genetics, microbiome, and mental health variables are at play. But generally speaking, if a woman or man is obese, it is directly connected to their day-to-day lifestyle. It is really not rocket science. For the vast majority of people who eat healthy, drink plenty of water and exercise, they will have an athletic or slender body. On the flip side, if a person eats a poor diet, drinks fizzy drinks and has a very sedentary life, then they will be at a significantly increased risk of being overweight and obese, and also being subjected to all of the associated diseases such as diabetes and also heart disease. For me, as somebody who promotes a healthy lifestyle, this is where I'm led into hating the body positivity movement. Advocates of the movement would suggest that we should accept the body in any form, regardless of the body being overweight and riddled with diabetes and heart disease. Now, clearly, I don't think that anyone would disagree that if something cannot be changed because we inherited those genetics, such as height or my wonky nose, for example, then it is good that those things are accepted as they are. And this is true body positivity. But why on earth should we just accept an obese body type that may be very unhealthy? Surely in this situation, where healthy and positive change can be applied, why not support this type of change? Why on earth would any type of movement not promote health for all? Now, equally, me saying as my opinion that I don't believe that anyone should promote an obese body, that it is not right or healthy, that does not mean for 1 second that an obese person should partake in unhealthy weight loss practices, and I am absolutely not saying that weight is always a barometer of a person's health. After all, we all know lots of people who are slim who are also very unhealthy. Society today is awash with men and women who are suffering with body distortion issues due to not being able to switch off from social media drivers. So while statistically speaking, women are much more likely to suffer with eating disorders, men are also much more likely to have issues at the other end of the spectrum and deal with things such as bigorexia, which makes them think that they are never big enough. So body distortion issues are not just a female problem. And there is a very big and pronounced fine line that body positivity needs to take responsibility over, and that is good health. Body positivity and toxic positivity movements should 100% not be glorifying any form of body acceptance that disregards and ignores any risk and consequences of obesity, period. In my opinion, and that is all it is, my opinion, if you are overweight or obese and you are comfortable in your own skin and you know the risks associated for your longer term health and you still choose to be obese, then absolutely great. If you are truly happy, then people should have nothing to say about this. But if you are someone such as Tess Holliday, who is obese and promotes toxic positivity that could have a real and significant negative impact longer term on people's health, then in my opinion, you need to pipe down. Body positivity is not for everyone. If you personally get some positivity from it, then great, but not everyone will. It is absolutely a healthy state of mind for a person to love their own imperfections at the same time as seeking to address them for the sake of their longer term health outcomes, particularly if we are talking about weight. This is a very complex landscape, and what we have all got to acknowledge is that many people have more than just a passing negative thought pattern about their bodies, and very frequently in these situations, a person's mental and physical health are very interconnected. And the reason that I bring this up is that I think it's really important to distinguish between a person with a lot of insecurities or low self-esteem and a person with clearly defined mental illnesses associated with body distortion, such as bulimia. So like I said before, if you are obese and you are truly happy and you are not impacting on others and you acknowledge the longer term risks, then great, simply enjoy your life. But if you are someone who is overweight and obese and you have self-esteem or body image issues or a mental health problem, then please seek the help that you need. Don't let a propaganda movement fill you with the thought process that says you are wrong for wanting to improve your health. After all, misery loves company. Look at what this movement did to Adele when she lost weight. She got so much criticism for wanting to lose weight and get healthy. And this is everything that is wrong with the body positivity movement. Anyhow, that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this one, then be sure to check Equality Act 2010 if you have a physical or mental impairment that has a substantial and long-term negative effect on your ability to do normal daily activities.
3.
Does he act?
Okay, I don't want to go in detail about it. I went through some pretty heavy combat in Afghanistan. I felt a sense of guilt and, well, pretty much just like guilt after I got back from it. Some guys, the good guys didn't, like most of the good friends, like didn't make it home.
Maybe nick a car of 3 broken ribs. Now there are many is cerebral palsy, Down syndrome people, or any other form of accepted disability. These people have to live in societies with negative attitudes, inaccessible transportation and public buildings, and often very limited social support. Many people with disabilities experience poorer health outcomes and also reduced life expectancy. They often have less access to education and work opportunities, and very often they are also likely to live in extreme poverty. All too often, people with disabilities do not receive the proper healthcare assistance that they need. Some of the latest evidence from the World Health Organization shows that approximately half of people with disabilities do not have enough money to access the healthcare that they need. And people with disabilities are statistically more likely to suffer with severe mental health issues, and many ultimately go on to commit suicide. So it really grinds my gears when a self-absorbed, click-hungry worm sperm feels the need to put himself in the same category as war heroes battling with PTSD, those battling cancer, those born with severe learning difficulties, and those battling with visual impairments. It is a messed up world that we live in, where this type of narcissist uses the term disabled with such regard and then pockets thousands and thousands of dollars in the process. I really don't know how he has the brass neck to make these types of videos and then view it all as one big joke.